All right. So, मेरे साथ the one and only Raamdeo Agrawal sir हैं. I'm very excited to talk to him. Been a fan of sir for a very long time. सर, टॉपिक आज का वो है जो सबके दिमाग में चल रहा है कि बजट 2024 इज आउट. ऑल्दो इट्स एन इंटरिम बजट. छोटा सा बजट था, स्पीच काफी छोटी थी, पॉइंट्स बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है, बट वुड लव टू हियर व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन इट.
Yeah, so as you said, it's interim budget, but few significant things. It is indicative. Mark Darshan, like what PM said, it is going to indicate the intentions and where they are headed. So basically, profit and loss for the year is clearly laid out fully. I mean, you don't have a new revenue and expenditure budget after 4 months. It is going to be same. So to that extent, actually, this is 90% of the budget. I mean, even after 4 months, the numbers are going to be same. And that's where I think the real surprise is that for 2023-24, they are going to deliver a 0.1% lower fiscal deficit at 5.8. And most surprisingly, that for 25-26, they'll be at 5.1 and they'll try to better it. So you could be looking at 5%. So I think they are out to prove that what we say, that's what we mean. Not only to the foreigners, but also to domestic guys that don't take us lightly. What we say, we do it. Then I think India will try to get an upgrade from Moody's and S&P. So for that, I don't know what is the discussion, but I think fiscal deficit must be one of the pain points. and these guys must have said that this is the glide path we are giving. I mean, from 5.1, they have said 4.5 next year. You imagine. So I think it's a very, very tightrope walking by the government. And I think a lot is there in that itself, because what is going to happen is that once you get the bond inclusion and on top of it an upgrade, so you are going to you'll have a huge implication for the markets and for the country as a whole and interest rates. So the moment bond money starts flowing in, and on top of it, if the India is upgraded, then as an investment destination also, FDI will start flowing in. So, and as the interest rate starts coming down, quite possible the currency might start strengthening. So the FIs will love it. I mean, any kind of a strengthening from 83 to even 81, 78. I mean, a little bit of strengthening, forget about, I mean, they have been used to giving 3-4% every year. Against that, if you start getting a percentage, that is a lot, particularly for the fixed income. So I think if they are able to deliver, and on top of it, 7% growth. So it looks like a very dreamy kind of a fiscal situation. And you have a forex of $640 billion, and accretion is also happening. Current account deficit looking at a control. Another thing they have given in the budget summary, the slides which they send, in that they have said that dollar GDP growth rate for last 2-3 years has been about 10.5%. And the beauty is that for next 5 years, they are going to grow at 10% or 10.5% against the world GDP growth rate of 5%. This one, I don't know how many have noticed, but they have given a graphic also for that till 29. So there is a set that we want to grow at about 10.5% dollar GDP when the world grows at 5%. So if by chance world grows at 6%, you can expect and 10% dollar GDP growth rate, or maybe 10-11% normal. So I think the budget significant on that count, I would say. I mean, I couldn't read it right in the what is being recorded. So what is being put out in the front of the budget. So so clearly that part is fiscal consolidation is the biggest thing. Then on top of it, whatever they allocated to women and poor and disadvantaged people. I mean, these are their job is to collect money from people like us and distribute it in various parts of the country. And then I think another significant part, that goes on. 80-90% of budget is that only every year. Whether you keep giving it names, but that is what is the budget. The job of the government is to सरकार का काम ये है कि गरीबों अमीरों से ले गरीबों को दो. So वो तो चालू रहेगा. Third is that the CAPEX boom. So they, from 3 lakhs 8-10 years back, Last year they reached about 10 lakh crores, and now this year they're talking about 11.1 lakh crores. My sense is the absorption capacity in the economy, suddenly to 10 lakhs last year, I don't think it has happened. They have not been able to spend. I think they've cut down on the actual revised budgetary things. I think some 20,000, 50,000 they have reduced. It means they have not been able to spend. So now I think in the current year, 3 months are in any case gone in terms of a lot of ordering and all because of this budget thing. So in last 9 months, how much they will do? So I'm not surprised that allocation is somewhat muted. But one of the economists told me, actually in presentation, my economist only, Nikhil, said that in this year's 6 or 7% total budgetary growth, the revenue expenditure growth is 3%, but capex growth is 18%. 18%. So I think this capex boom is going to continue. And fourth thing I would say that there is a wealth effect because the markets are driven the way you are seeing. What is happening is there is a wealth effect from the top. So all kinds of luxury goods are in massive demand, whether it is houses, whether it is top-end cars, jewelry, travel, you name it, and it's all marriages and all. So I think we are going to have unprecedented boom from both sides. One from capex side from the bottom, and from the top from the wealth effect. So combine this, Acha, the economists are not going to get the wealth effect right, because there's no way to measure the wealth effect. What if I have become from 1,000 crores to 1,500 crores? What will I do additional? That economist, in short run, it is very difficult to figure out, but there will be an impact. Confidence in the economy, confidence in the, and then what is happening is because there is a stock market is up, people are buying left, right, and center real estate. Entire real estate is on fire across the country. That has a separate wealth effect. So you have the stock market wealth effect where few people participate. Real estate is across the country. So that also has a, say, if your house price, which was 10 crores, if it goes to 15, you have your own comfort. You can borrow a lot more against that property. So I think all these things will lead to, my sense is, per in GDP growth of about a percentage at least, over and above whatever economists are saying, say 6%, 6.5%, 7%. So my sense is we are in situation for a growth of about 6 to 7%, more like 7%. If IMF is saying 6.5%, I would definitely add a percentage on that. So 7 to 7.5% kind of thing. So I am very optimistic seeing the fiscal thing. Now, the real thing is that at what pace private capex picks up. That nobody has an answer, and only time will tell at what pace it happens, and and how the inflation behaves as we go forward. Since our food is very important, how exactly the monsoon again bless us in June, July, August. This time winter is very deep, so hopefully monsoon is going to be normal. If that is normal, then food, there will be decelerating impact on the food inflation, and hence the inflation overall. That will give a lot of, and the worldwide there's a interest rate cut environment, so we could see about a percentage or at least 50 basis point lower interest rate in next 12 months. So I think a lot of these derived implications are there, but everything looks fine. There is nothing to worry about. In fact, after the budget, we have emerged more optimistic than pessimistic.
Right, absolutely, sir. And sir, I think there has been quite some focus on green initiatives as well, with 3 or 4 schemes being launched around that. Do you have a thought on this as well?
This keeps happening, yeah. These are all, they have to fill that 1 hour. So for me, it's just, if you see, there has to be budgetary allocation for that. Otherwise, the sustainability, green revolution, moving to EV, those things are there. Commercially, it must make sense. And at a company wise, you have to see whether those things make a sense or not. Because at a stock market level, we are not in the, say that whether we should have more electricity from the gray materials or we should have more electricity from green. Those things are nice to talk at a national level, political level, social level. But at monetary level, I think we have to see the impact on each and every individual company's impacts.
Right, absolutely. This budget also incidentally coincides with the MSCI का rebalancing, जहाँ पे कि हम लोग second पे आ गए Hong Kong को pick करके because they were declining and we were on the rise. So I think government was relatively in a comfortable state election wise as well, and the markets were also happy. So I think they took a leverage. Is that also the case, sir? to be fiscally responsible and do the right CAPEX things, and instead of giving handouts before the elections and all?
Yeah, that is another significant thing, that on the eve of election, you actually, I mean, at least that 0.1% what they cut, that 30, 40, 50,000 crores, that they could have splurged, and that just in 2 months, 30, 40,000 crores make a huge impact, You can just increase an RE, what is that, Yojana and all. So clearly they have not done it. So I think they are seeing the positive momentum in their opinion polls and all. And they must have thought that there's no point in unnecessarily spoiling the budget. And maybe 1 or 2 seats. I think they have done enough politically, and their achievement itself is so strong that, and there is no alternative. There is no alternative. Competitor is very weak. So I think they must have seen that politically they are very well positioned. So there's no point in spoiling the budget equation.
Right. I was just reading about a data point, sir. Historically, in the last 4 decades, market has always kind of dipped in Feb, March, and then in election years, it has then gained quite a bit, 15-20% from there.
Just one sec.
Sure, sir, sure.
Saket, Sheraton. Yeah, boliye.
Yeah, so I was just going through a data point, sir. ICICI Research had come up with it, ICICI Direct Research, ki during election years, Feb, March mein market takes a dip, and then from there on, kuch 14-15% and median 17% it has risen till the elections. So do you see इस साल भी कुछ ऐसा, are you expecting कि elections तक यहाँ से एक अच्छी election rally आएगी?
मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि from this budget to election date, I mean that's a crescendo in the sense that, I mean, all kinds of thing will happen, that some guys will say that it is difficult, some guys will say it is 300, somebody will say 350, 400. So all kinds of odds will happen. Opposition will speak against as we go forward. This is cricket final, World Cup. So, I mean, there can be a lot of surprises. Not as uncertain as cricket, but I mean, you need an Australia also, which is not there. So I think outcome is quite predicted, but there is always 0.1%, 1%, what you call uncertainty is there, because it's a large democracy. What they may like, what they may not like. Some what is the kind of opposition also has in their sleeves. So I think once the event is passed, event is passed. So I think it is a big event. I think it's quite possible to buy on rumors, sell on news, that on the day on which the budget, the ballot box opens 1 day before, I think maximum excitement you will see. So we could see some kind of already market is fairly valued, and from 22,000, it's 22,000. What is the index now?
Yeah, it cracked 22,000 today.
Today, yeah. So around 22,000, and that going by 10% or so. I mean, that's a large number. So I don't know technically, but I mean, that kind of thing is possible, and I think apart from that, the retail participation is very strong. See, what is important, I don't know, what is not important is how much you will make in next 12 months. What you have made in last 12 months. You as a distributor, you must know that 21-22% return last 12 months is enough to entice people to come into the market. And once they come into the market, then the market will do its own job. So I think we're in a very interesting situation where 12 months return is 20% plus. People are very excited. We got 4.2 million accounts last month. I don't know this month. I think it should be higher than that. So there is enough money on the table, enough interest in the market. Corporate earnings are very good. Expected event is going to be positive. So I don't see what can go wrong. I mean, of course, there will be something which will go wrong. Can go wrong, rather.
Right. My next question, I think this is the question that audience would be interested to know the most, which is पैसा इस समय बनाने का best तरीका क्या होगा? It can be sector wise or instrument wise, या कहाँ पे what retail investors should be doing to make money?
One of the things is that it's like a swollen river. ये सूखा रिवर नहीं है जहाँ पर कोई भी आदमी घुस जाए और नदी को पार कर ले. ये जो है भाई बाढ़ आया हुआ है ना. तो उसमें क्या है कि you have to be little expert swimmer, or you have to have all kinds of support to cross through. So retail investors are coming, they are novice, they are inexperienced, they are fearful, and probably first time in the market. So I would suggest they need a lot of help. They need advice from people like you, and their expectations should be low. In fact, they'll be coming with high expectation, which is another problem. So they should come with low expectation. आपका काम है expectation को नीचे रखने का. In fact, caution them that there could be some correction. Maybe not very deep, but 10-15% correction. So they should be ready for that. And allocations, then today there is excitement all over. You can buy large cap. I mean, I would be a little more tilted towards large cap than small and mid. But small and mid have a lot of variety. So there are expensive mid caps and small caps, and there are cheap, reasonably priced also. So I think you have to find sectorally. You can see real estate, you can see capital market stocks, you can see even to some banking stocks. Interestingly, then you have PSUs. Some of the PSUs are still attractive. So I think you have enough on the table. That's the beauty of Indian market. I mean, for everybody, there is something or other.
And considering the paucity of time, one final question, one advice that you'd like to leave with our viewers.
Remain allocated. Like if you have, say, we talk about 1 crore, so and you decided that this money I need to be in, I can take equity risk on that, then don't delay too much. Because now the train is running very fast, and we are getting 4 million customers every month. Economy is on the roll, politically surcharged, third term, political continuity. So a lot of things are happening. World is watching. I think you have to preempt the foreigners. If the foreigners come, they're nuts. They're unemotional. They can pump $25-30 billion in 3 months' time. So, फिर आपको बहुत तकलीफ होगी. So I think the best thing is to first timers, they must plan their entry and just execute, like 3 installments, 5 installments, or lump sum, whatever you advise them, looking at their face. So being in the market is fun. Being out, option to earn, if we talk about 12-13%, option to earn 17% is only if you are there. If you sit outside and then you say that, sir, I didn't know market did 20%. So, like last year, looking at 22-23, market was flat. You would have not allocated. And here you are with 23%. Now you're looking at 23%. Maybe the next 1 year is going to be a little more disappointing, which will be a very good thing to happen, I'm telling you. I pray to God that we have a little deeper correction, or at least time-wise correction in the market. Because once your market becomes parabolic, is a big problem. It's a big problem for long term.
Absolutely. This was absolutely amazing, sir. Thank you so much for making time for us. And I know even now you're traveling, and it would have been very hectic.
Thank you. Thanks.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon to never miss an update from ICICI Direct.